This is a previously recorded episode of the ITintheD Show.
Hey, so this is episode 134 of the ITintheD Show. We've got DTE, Joel Miller is in studio with us to talk about their app and a lot of other cool, fun stuff they've got going on. We've also got John here from YourComicCon.com talking about his cons that are coming up in the area, as well as Pure MishCon. So it's going to be a fun show. Stick around.
This is Billy D. Williams. Bob and Dave and I are enjoying a Coop 45 right now. And remember, ITintheD, it works every time.
3, 2, 1.
Following program is intended for mature audiences.
This is Max Headroom, and what you're about to witness is one of the most sinister-sounding intros to a trailer to one of the greatest epics ever.
You're listening to the ITintheD Show.
Just where do you guys think you are?
The Library of Congress?
Detroit? Beyond the sun?
Any of those, right?
Take him to Detroit. No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please! Anything but that! No!
I used to hang out at the Magumba Bar. It was a rough place, the seediest dive on the wharf, populated with every reject and cutthroat from Bombay to Calcutta. It's worse than Detroit.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Then don't come! Shut up!
Dig, you IT geeks. This is Dre DeMatteo from Sons of Anarchy. You are listening to ITintheD.
What happens when you tap the angry beaver in the bunghole?
Exactly. Come on. Someone tries. What the hell with this? I'm calling a break. We'll come back to the ITintheD Show.
Hi, this is Ralph Macchio, and you're listening to ITintheD Show. Wax on, you know what.
So you have no boots.
No.
You have no gloves.
No.
You have no hat.
No.
You have no scarf.
No.
You have no scraper.
No.
How long have you lived in Michigan?
All my life.
You, sir, are an idiot.
I don't care.
What's up, everybody? This is Billy Zapka. Sweep the leg. Listening to ITintheD Show. No mercy.
I may have to wipe the geek off.
Hi, this is Martin Cove, John Kreese from the Karate Kid movie, and you're listening to ITintheD.
Yes, Sensei! Are we at a break yet?
Hi, I'm Ernie Hudson, and you're listening to ITintheD. All you nerds out there.
Nerds? Nerds.
Nerds! What is a nerd?
I'm a nerd, and I'm pretty proud of it.
This is Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump. The ITintheD Show is your hookup. Holler if you hear me.
You're in your underwear? I'm in my underwear. Hey, let's hang out.
No, I'm sorry, honey. I have a headache.
I definitely want to see Bob in his underwear. That's a fact.
Hello, everybody. This is Ming Chen from AMC's Comic Book Man. I'm a techie. I'm a nerd, fellow podcaster. My favorite podcast is ITintheD.
I can't say no, and I don't really want to.
Well, especially with the back doors open.
It's just too big. It's way too big.
Really? Should we talk about this? Tag team it. Should I keep going or should I stop?
We just lost our clean tag on iTunes.
This is Robert Hayes, a tit striker to my mother. When I'm not hanging out at the Magumbo Bar, I'm listening to the ITintheD Show. It's worse than Detroit.
Is there such thing as a meat hangover?
I love my Monday meat steak.
Hey, folks, this is WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're listening to the ITintheD Show. Tough guy. Ho!
My name is Michael Zapsik from AMC's Comic Book Man. You're listening to ITintheD.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
The question isn't what are we going to do. The question is what aren't we going to do.
Ludicrous speed! Sir, had you better buckle up? Buckle this! Ludicrous speed! Go!
Hey, so hello and welcome to episode 134 of the ITintheD Show. That's what I get for keeping an earpiece in my ear while I'm trying to do this. Exactly, we are flying Bobless tonight, so I'm pulling double duty. I said duty. So we have Dave the Geek here with Nuri the FNG. Bob is off, allegedly on business in Miami. I'm sure he's loving the sights, such as it is.
Right, like the beaches and the palm trees.
Yeah.
And women wearing no clothes.
Apparently, based on his Facebook updates, yes. So we are joined tonight. We have Joel here from DTE to talk about their app and everything they have going on. We also have John here from YourComicCon.com about the Pure MishCon that's coming up and some of the other stuff he has going on. And then we've also got all kinds of the usual usual fun and excitement, all the news items and events that caught our eye over the past week.
The wacky hijinks.
Yeah, exactly. The wacky mayhem ensues. And of course, the recap of all that went on at Fantasticon in Lansing this weekend.
Dude, I'm so mad that I missed that.
I was up there.
I rode a bull.
Yeah, I went by there.
I rode a mechanical bull. It totally happened. I'm so happy.
Do we have video?
There's video.
There's absolutely
awesome.
But before we get started, we got a little bit of business. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Casper Mattresses. So basically, sleeping is one of the most important things you do, right? You spend a third of your life in a mattress. So why do it in a crappy mattress? A lot of you probably have hand-me-downs, things that your family gave you, things that you inherited, things that like previous relationships have slept in that bed.
That are just tainted.
Right. I got a good story about this. I'll tell you after the show. But basically, Casper is this awesome brand who basically it's an American-made mattress. And basically, it is the most awesome. It's latex foam and memory foam. So you've heard memory foam. You've heard of memory foam mattresses. Basically, this is the right sink, the right bounce, no matter how you sleep. I feel like that deserves a ding. And buying a mattress is a big thing. It's almost like buying a car nowadays. But Casper makes it easy. So there's a risk-free trial and return policy. So basically, they'll deliver it to your house, and you have 100 days to tell if you like that mattress or not. And if you don't like it, they'll pick it back up. So basically, and the prices are so good. $500 gets you a twin-size mattress. $950 gets you a king-size mattress. Do you know what it costs, Dave, for a competitor mattress made out of memory foam?
Sadly, I absolutely do.
So it's $4,000 freaking dollars to get the competitor's mattress.
Well, and everything I've read, and Bob has one. He had the whole documented the whole story about it shows up in a tightly packaged little box.
It's like one of those things
and you crack it open and it like explodes.
It goes funk.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're supposed to let it sit overnight and all that fun. Like they tell you what to do when it gets there and all that stuff. But I mean, he loves it. And honestly, if this is not a selling point, I got to be honest, I don't know what is. Bob's wife, has said she loves the mattress because it is so comfortable. She doesn't even hear Bob come in late at night and start snoring when he gets there.
Dude, I slept in the same room as Bob, and I think that's BS.
I honestly, I genuinely don't know how that's possible. Yeah, exactly. So if that's not a selling point for you, I truly do not know what is.
No, it's made in America, and you can get $50 off that mattress by going to Casper.com/ITintheD. And if you're asked for any kind of coupon codes, it's ITintheD. So it gives you $50 off an already ridiculously well-made American product at a great price. So check them out, Casper. Thanks so much for your support.
It's very, very cool. But yeah, so hey, just to dive in, as I mentioned, Bob and I took off and went up to Lansing over the weekend.
Why didn't I go?
I don't know. You were feeling the burn this weekend.
I was. It's great. All the pictures right now showing Bernie Sanders. You can see me in the background.
It is phenomenal. Nuri is in every national photo covering the Bernie convention that happened.
Gigantic head sitting in the background.
And you weren't wearing an ITintheD shirt, you bastard.
And he wasn't being tackled by Secret Service.
No, thank goodness.
That's a bonus.
Right.
That's, yeah.
Those guys have no sense of humor at all.
I was going to say, because when I first saw your post about it, I found out, today exactly how little of a sense of humor Secret Service agents have. I was like, oh my God, what did he do?
Well, it was like, what happens if we burn this place down? And it didn't go over that well. So.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, Secret Service.
Sorry.
Not sorry.
But yeah, so we went to Lansing. So Fantasticon, we went to the one in Mount Clemens back in November. And, had a phenomenal time, had a great time with all the attendees, all the guests. That's where we met Mike and Ming, and got that ball rolling here. Yeah, that's where we met the Ghostbusters, which we hung out with again last weekend at Great Lakes Comic-Con, hung out again this past weekend. Up in Lansing. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see the different shows and just different dynamics. We went there for a couple of different reasons. I mean, we wanted to, so Brimstone is the host of Grindhouse Radio.
Yeah, I talked to him.
Yep,
yeah.
That's now syndicated on our network. Interesting dude. So we talked with him, had a great, moderated his panel discussion, had a fun time there. Which was interesting because you figure Bob and I really don't know the definition of either the word moderate or moderate, no matter how you pronounce the syllable emphasis. So yeah, I mean, it was a good time. And then, of course, Saturday night we went out, found a great little bar. Tony Mielo, one of the guys from the Gooder Guys show here on the network, is an artist, and he was telling us about this place. We got to go there. We got to go there. We got to go there. And so we're like, all right, man. Well, you said you scouted this place. We'll go. Well, it wasn't until we actually hop in the Uber to get there that we find out that it's 20 minutes away from the hotel. So we gave him a little grief about that. But honestly, this is a bar. If you're in Lansing, for the love of God, go to Tequila Cowboys. Or Tequila Cowboy, sorry. It is huge. Is it huge? It's huge. It's a ginormous. I think capacity. They said capacity is 1,800.
Jesus Christ!
It has
the bar. It's an arena.
I know. There. It's got the main. The main bar is enormous and seats probably a good 80, 100 people around it. Then they've got, the dance floor. They've got a separate karaoke room, which we totally took over and had a good night there. And then, and then, of course, Bob and I wound up, as people were, leaving on us and just dying, Bob and I just sat at the bar and started talking to random people because, well, that's what we do.
Totally.
Yeah. So it was a good night. Met a lot of the locals, had a great night. So, yet another good Fantasticon show, met some new people. Saw a lot of familiar faces.
Yep, yeah, I was walking around there for about 3 hours with me and my sons, yeah.
And most importantly, as you heard, as we were kicking things off, we met Billy D. Williams.
Yeah, we missed him.
We met Lando.
We waited, we walked, we were in the wrong place, I don't know.
We got our JCPenney glamour shots photo taken with him. That's really the only way I can describe it. I got to get those posted out on the ITintheD page, not on Twitter. They're on my wall, but I'm clearly not friends with everybody here. Just a great time. Got a great drop from him. He was so personable, and of course, Bob's walking around in his PBR jacket. So Sunday comes around. And he's still wearing the jacket, and
people
a
little slept in by now.
Oh yeah, and people were like, it's really recognizable. He's like, oh yeah, people were walking up and talking to me all night long. It was kind of a pain in the ass. I'm like, yeah. Let's just be honest. You knew what you were doing when you put it on. And just run with it.
I think Bob works for Pabst. I really do.
Well,
Cisco thing's a cover.
But so here's what we learned: Billy D is apparently coming back into the Colt 45 fold.
Oh, Jesus.
Apparently, PBR is now bringing Colt 45 back, and they've reached out to him, and he's going to do a run of endorsements and commercials and that kind of stuff again, just like the good old days.
You got to ask him first, for sure, if you're bringing back anything with Colt 45.
It's the tip of the hipster spear, it sounds like. Colt 45 and 2 zigzags, baby. That's all I need. Good song. Anyway.
So it was a great time. Obviously, found stuff. Every con we go to, find stuff for us, find stuff for the kids. It's just
money.
Exactly. And then Jeremy London from Mallrats. Actually, I'll cue that up for the first break. Just a great conversation. Very down to earth. Just had a great chat with him as well. Really, really cool guy. Glad to see, because a couple people were like, had a bad experience with him. And well, us, it's like dive bars. Oh, it's a terrible dive bar. Yeah, we're going.
Let's go. Yeah.
So had a great. So I don't know what was wrong with them, but had a great
I talked
chat
to him for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
He tried to lure my son. My 10-year-old was shy, and he's trying to get him to chat and everything. Yeah, it was really good guy.
Yeah, very personable. Very, very good guy. So I guess another good order of business. So Thursday is our Pink Slip Party event.
Dude, I'm so excited.
We're taking over the Majestic again. We're actually starting to get flooded with recruiters that are looking for name tags as they walk in, as well as resumes are starting to come in. So, folks, if you don't know about this, we do an event every month. We do these Pink Slip Party events twice a year. They really are dedicated to just trying to help people find new gigs here. As always, people network and hang out and meet people in the industry. But I mean, they really are the bigger version of what we do. And so, we're expecting about 1,000 people to fill up the Majestic again. Nuri's going to be DJing.
Wiki.
Yeah, exactly. Our buddies, the Ghostbusters, are going to be in, walking around.
They are a great bunch.
They are such a good bunch of guys. So
if you guys have never been to this is like the most badass job fair / networking events on steroids. And so many places are like, no, we'll charge you to hang out with us. We may have the area code of the local area in our name, and we'll charge you $20 to hang out. No, screw that. Come hang out.
Yeah, totally free to get in. It doesn't matter if you're a recruiter, a job seeker, or just looking to hang out. There's no cover. There, yes, you have to buy your own drinks. It is what it is. But we're bringing out food. So Sergeant Pepperoni's is right there. We're going to be bringing pizzas in,
and it's curated. So there's not going to be any like douche canoes peddling Cutco knives.
We have spent 15 years.
I worked for Cutco Knives.
For about 3 weeks. I did too for about 1 week.
We've spent 15 years kicking everybody out of this group that doesn't belong. It's a good, solid crowd of folks. So, like I said, it doesn't matter if you're looking to hire, get hired, or just meet people in the industry. Thursday night, the Majestic Theater, starting at 5 o'clock, we'll be there till, we always say question mark. It'll probably start winding down around 8 o'clock, and then the certain core group of us will start finding other bars to go to.
Go to the bowling alley.
Exactly. And then bad things will happen because that's what we do.
Nice.
But hey, so from a news and events perspective, I hear you had a very close miss today, Nuri.
Dude, it's like one of those moments, like Final Destination.
Right.
Except for your computer.
The butterfly flapped its wings in Japan, and you managed to not be,
freaking missed it. So I do a lot of BitTorrenting. That was
accidental.
Completely accidental. So I BitTorrent legal ISOs of things like Linux distributions and stuff. And for the Mac, I use something called Transmission. And it's the best open source BitTorrent client for the Mac. And basically somebody hacked their servers between March 5th and March 7th and inserted a CryptoLocker-like malware into the image.
Oops.
Yep. So basically 7,000 people downloaded this infected version. And basically it waits 3 days, connects to a server, encrypts all your stuff, and demands 1 Bitcoin to unlock all your stuff. This is the first example of a Mac CryptoLocker type malware in existence.
Well, which actually kind of dovetails into another story where, basically the nightmare scenario for Bitcoin played out.
Yeah, so now you're waiting like how long?
43 minutes for a Bitcoin transaction to process. If not stalled out and dead completely.
I want my files back.
Exactly, and your computer's locked up.
No. It's okay if you're just like on the dark net buying weed or something. You can take 40 minutes for that, right? But these are my damn files I'm talking about. So either way, so if you've downloaded Transmission or updated it between the 5th of March and the 7th of March, download the new update right now. It'll remove it. Apple's already updated their signatures, so hopefully you'll be okay. Crazy shit.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So I heard an interesting story about Waze. I think we all use it. It's a phenomenal little app.
It's the best. It's owned by Google.
Yeah.
It's
it just apparently if you're an Israeli soldier over in Israel or Palestine, do not turn off the option that says keep me away from places where it's not safe for Israelis to go. Because, the story broke that Israeli soldiers got hosed using Waze and wound up in the middle of a Palestine camp.
Wait, hold on. So Waze tells me where the cops are, but it can't tell me where my warring factions.
Oh no, but it can. But if you, but apparently, and so like Waze was quick to react.
Turn left.
Yeah, exactly. Where they said, "Oh, well, we have other options that are available in that area.
Drive past the encampment on the right."
Yeah, exactly. Avoid mortar in 3, 2. But yeah, so they apparently the soldiers had apparently turned off the option that said, keep me out of danger zones.
Give me the fastest damn route. I'm trying to get where I'm going.
Just phenomenally brilliant. And, late breaking news today, and I'm curious as to your take on that. So on this, we've all heard, and I'm sure we've all watched it or seen the stills at least. Erin Andrews. Dude, found out what room she was in, got the room next door in the hotel, set up a peep cam, put like a 4.5 minute video out a few years ago. And they found out who it was, went to a civil trial. Verdict came down today it was a 7-day trial. Verdict came down today, $55 million.
Whoa.
They found 51% liability with said stalker and 49% liability with the hotel group. So, and I get it to some degree because this guy was able to find out what room she was in by walking up to the hotel front desk, doing a little social engineering.
Can I be next to Erin Andrews?
Yeah, exactly. How do you be next to Erin Andrews, please? How do you not? Yeah, how do you not?
How thick are the walls in your hotel?
Right. Yeah, exactly. hypothetically speaking, how large of a drill bit would I need to get to the hotel?
1/8 inch? No.
And they gave him the room number, and he requested the room next to her and got it. So I can see where they're a little culpable there. I get it. And and odds are good. This guy's already been in jail for a couple of years, so it's not like he's paying out 51% of $55 million. But I'm a little.
What irks you about it?
I'm a little ambivalent about it. I'm glad she won. I do, because it was a horrible invasion of privacy.
Completely.
The guy was a gigantic raging douche canoe of a stalker to actually do this and then put it on the net. And listening to her talk, she does. She's had anxiety attacks, and you look at it. She was trying to be taken seriously. As a sports reporter. In something that's a world that's very full of, objectification of women from the get-go. Yeah. And then to have that leak out, and every player you talk to, has seen it. Yeah. Every co-host, has seen it. How do you move on from that?
Kind of ruined your career in some way, right?
She's now doing Dancing with the Stars. She's the host there, and so, I can kind of understand that. I'm curious to see how this is going to play out, through the appeals process and everything else. Because the hotel chains are going to appeal because they have to by default.
Right. So somebody at the front desk screwed up.
Oh yeah, that's the guy or the person. I don't know if it didn't really reveal if it was a guy or a girl, but that's the person I would love to know where they are right now.
Taco Bell.
Yeah. Do they have a payroll deduction starting tomorrow? Or?
No, they're Taco Bell.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure they're not working for the hotel anymore.
Oof.
On the same front, as far as I'm a little torn. There was a model that went and did a bunch of stock photo shoots, and in a variety of positions, a lot of different facial expressions. And apparently one of her photos was used in a Burger King ad where it's an elongated sandwich and her face is turned to the left and her mouth is open with a big surprised look on her face.
Could it be a phallic shaped sandwich?
It's completely suggestive as to what you see it, what they're going for. And she's now, she took to the web just outraged about, the Burger King used this ad for this and I didn't consent to this and then, but you did.
I'm sure she signed some kind of release.
You signed a release that those stock photos were out there. Burger King came out and said, here's the purchase of said stock photos for us to use them.
Yes.
So you really have no recourse here, but it's still a social media to-do now. And that's the part of that bugs me. So you knew what you were getting into when you did it. You knew that you were signing those photos away.
You were paid handsomely for them.
Or even if you weren't.
Right.
That's not their problem.
That's true.
You took a gig, you signed the deal, you took the photos, they're out there.
There was also I remember there was a Korean lady a couple months ago who was in an ad.
Yes.
That had she's very beautiful, her husband was very attractive, and all their kids were completely derp.
Yes.
And basically it was an ad for plastic surgery.
And it became a meme.
She said the same thing. She's like, this picture has ruined my life.
Yeah, it became a meme. And it's bizarre how often that happens.
I think if you're a model, you should probably know what you're getting into when
you're think of worst case scenario.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely changed because every picture goes everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
Every picture goes everywhere. It's true.
Let's see. So what else do we have that's good? Actually, you know what? We were hanging out with him this weekend.
Kanye West?
The new Ghostbusters trailer. Was not hanging out with Kanye West. Thank God. Although, you know what? I'll give this 8 seconds. So Kim Kardashian apparently posted yet another naked selfie.
It wasn't naked. It had
on Instagram with a little black, but yeah. Why is anyone surprised? And why have we not all seen her?
She had a magazine cover not too long ago where she's completely nude, bottle of champagne on her ass.
Yeah, video.
Yeah, it's good.
Ray J.
Yeah.
We all saw that too. Anyway,
hashtag not interested.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If you don't know who you're voting for yet you know everything about Kim Kardashian, you might be part of the problem, or you might be a Trump voter.
Goddamn right.
But no. So the new Ghostbusters trailer came out, and it's getting mixed reviews, and I'm not I'm going to put this out there. This is my opinion. I'm just saying. I'm not thrilled by it. It's not because it's a remake. I kept an open mind. It's because it's not funny. It's because it's not that good. I wanted to like it. I really, really did. It's almost like the trailer opens with an homage to the original and then diverges. Like, are we supposed to forget the original happened? Is there a connection to the original? It doesn't even touch on that, which is even more confusing. And then, like I said, I'm not feeling it.
I didn't see it, actually. I didn't miss the trailer.
Really?
Yeah. I missed it too. I did see there was a Reddit user who recut the trailer.
Which is phenomenal.
This is so much better.
Exactly. Yeah, why are you not working for the... Yeah.
Correct. I feel like that's where trailers are going there. People just like... The movie companies put the entire freaking plot line. Wow.
Dirk.
Sorry. They put the plot line in the trailer. Every last bit of it.
Ever since episode 1, man. When Star Wars episode 1, I'm still stunned and a little bit bitter that they put the Darth Maul double-sided lightsaber in the trailer. Like, that was one of the most jaw-dropping or should have been one of the most jaw-dropping moments in that movie. And you knew it walking in.
I've seen this before.
Yeah.
This is great.
But speaking of Kanye, apparently he's a Pirate Bay user?
Yeah, it's kind of great. He posted a picture somewhere, and it basically had in the background him on a Pirate Bay website downloading an application with a synthesizer in it.
Yeah.
And it's even better, he was on YouTube listening to music. Which, as a founder of Tidal, he should probably have access to listen to music.
You would think so.
But he goes to YouTube to listen to music. And then, so what's great about this is that Deadmau5 calls him out. Deadmau5, one of my favorite electronic music artists. I flew up here from Tampa when I lived in Tampa to see Deadmau5. And it was a great show. And he basically is like, hey, Kanye, you're a dick. Pay $200 for the synthesizer software. And it's like, someone loan Kanye $200, pray for Yeezy.
Well, he's $53 million in debt.
He is.
Maybe exactly. He's hitting up Zuckerberg for $1 billion off Twitter. So yeah.
But then Kanye fires back and he's like, hey, whose job is to carry the mouse head on the plane? Do you check it? My little daughter likes Minnie Mouse. Can you come and bring a Minnie Mouse head instead? How do you pronounce your name? Is it Deadmau5 and do you do birthday parties? I kind of love this whole thing. So actually, all week, Deadmau5 has changed his name to Deadmau5, which I totally like. So. But Kanye, seriously, buy your damn software.
All right, well, hey, we are bumping up against our first break already.
That was quick.
This one's going to fly. So this is episode 134 of the ITintheD show. We will be back in just a few minutes talking with Joel from DTE, and we'll see you in just a sec.
This is Jeremy London from Mallrats, and I'm just wondering, how did I go from Hot Floridian Sex with Brandy spinning to the ITintheD show?
IT in the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit, one beer at a time.
Hey, this is John Schneider from Nip Tuck Smallville, the haves and the have-nots. Oh, Dr. Quinn, Hot in Cleveland, Secret Lives of the American Teenager, and just about everything you can possibly imagine. And oh yeah, the Dukes of Hazzard. You're listening to Bob and Dave. It's the IT in the D show.
ITintheD.com. This is a previously recorded episode of the IT in the D show.
All right, hey, and welcome back to episode 134 of the ITintheD show. We're getting ready to roll in with Joel from DTE. But before we do that, just one little order of business to handle. So here's the deal. Do you love books, but you never have time to read them? Audible.com has the perfect solution. You get audiobooks. You listen to those books you've been meaning to read while on the go. It's actually come in handy for me. I've listened to a couple of the Star Wars books that are out that I've wanted to read, haven't had a chance to. Anyway, at the gym, during your commute, Audible.com provides over 180,000 titles from the leading audiobook publishers, broadcasters, entertainers, magazine and newspaper publishers, and business information providers. Their app is free. It works on iPhones, iPad, Android, and Windows Phone. Dude, Mike Dennis will be so happy.
Dude, I think about it. I mean, just think about other people who are in sales or in IT who drive between customer sites, spend time in rental cars and airports, crap like that. You don't have time to read. This is seriously the best way to get good, solid quality audiobooks.
It really is. And you can also download and listen on your Kindle Fire and over 500 MP3 players. Unlike a streaming or rental service with Audible, you own the book, so you can access your books anytime and anywhere right from your smartphone. Audible.com also has the great listener guarantee. If you decide you don't like the book you choose, and this is actually cool, I did this once, no worries. You can exchange any book you aren't happy with for another title anytime, no questions asked. Just for listeners, Audible.com is offering a free 30-day trial membership for our listeners. Go to audible.com/ITintheD. That's audible.com/ITintheD today to start your free trial. Again, show your support for IT in the D and get a free 30-day trial at audible.com/ITintheD.
Nice.
And away we go.
Sweet.
So, Joel from DTE, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. So I guess let's just as a brief intro, let's talk about who. Go ahead and tell us who you are and what you do.
So I work at DTE as the principal supervisor for energy management tools, and the tool that I'm most responsible for is DTE Insight.
And by the way, that's a cool damn title. I mean, my title is extraordinarily lame in comparison. Principal supervisor of energy management tools.
It's very corporate.
God, no, I love it.
Sounds great. Very cool.
I'd be in bars and be like, hey, I work in energy management tools. Right. I totally would.
So let's talk about Insight. Let's talk about the DTE app. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I've seen a lot of commercials lately pushing this, where DTE is pouring a lot of money back into, infrastructure and that sort of stuff. And I think this ties into it because it's a good, I have it, it's a good app to figure out where you're using, where you're wasting energy, and what's out there. So, I mean, like from a DTE perspective, who needs this app?
So we have two different customer groups that are really focusing on this right now. The first one is your community, which is the people that really are after the data. So you have this advanced meter that's hanging on your house. It's a digital meter. About 2009, we started deploying these, and in about 2012, the community, the nerd community, basically started saying, hey, I'd like to really see that data that's sitting out there. And so it took a couple years. So about 2012, we started really looking at how to do that. And 2014, we released the first version of the product. And so immediately we said, hey, it'd be a great goal to have 10,000 downloads by the end of the year. We released in July. We had 60,000 downloads in
Nice.
And all of these were like early adopters that said, hey, I've been waiting to see this data. And so a big part of the app is really helping customers identify what's the patterns of their day. Where are they wasting their energy? And the data is really kind of pointing at that.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. I grabbed it because I got annoyed because I kept getting the emails from DTE saying, here's the average consumption use in your area. Here's your neighbor's consumption use, and whoop, here's your use.
Yeah, and people are surprised. And the thing I really try to point out is look at your energy in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
and if you can figure out what we call the valley floor, your base load, look at that. And I said, if you can drop that by 100 watts. You're going to save yourself between $10 and $15 a month. And so if you're sitting
not insignificant.
And the thing is, if you're sitting there at 600 watts and you can get it down to 100 watts, and 100 watts is really lean, but it's not impossible to get to. You can get that down there, you're starting to save some really serious money every month.
See, what really gives me pause, though, Joel, is what is DTE's goal in this, right? So you're the electric company for Detroit metro areas. Why do you want to save anybody money?
So ultimately,
right? I mean, it's a little bit of a capitalist here. But I mean,
no, they are a strange business, for sure.
Well,
in some ways.
Ultimately, it's all about not building another power plant, because if we need to build another power plant, it's all of our customers that basically pay for that.
Right.
So the energy efficiency program is all about delaying the need to build another power plant and extending the life of the ones we already have. So, the whole point is really to use energy more efficiently. And so we're pointing out how to do that. Waste is waste. And what we really want to do is eliminate the waste. You're using energy that has no value at that point.
So I guess the geek or the non-geek community that's out there, like what are some of the most common things that you guys have seen that are the typical energy wasters that people need to pay attention to?
So a great example are stereo speakers on your computer. So you have this, really nice speaker system. This is the experience I went through. Really nice speaker system. It's sitting there waiting to play sound. But if it's a 100-watt system, it's burning 100 watts waiting for that first note. And so it's using that 24 hours a day sitting in standby mode. So the simplest thing to do is put that on.
So you're saying I should not leave my PS4 and Xbox One just on all the time to download updates as they happen?
Well, you may have heard this on the radio. That'd be a great place to start.
And I think cable boxes too, right? Like your Comcast box is like ridiculous when it comes to waste.
So the thing I try to say is, get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and walk around your house safely. But walk around your house
in the dark to save energy.
But look for little LED lights. The little LED lights are saying, "Hey, I'm using energy over here," and so these are beacons in the middle of the night that are saying, "Hey, is this something that needs to be on now?" And so if if it's a DVR and you're recording stuff, then the answer is yes. If you're not recording anything, well, thank you for your business.
Yeah.
So what's this app going to tell me? I mean, how granular does it get? How can I realistically?
Let's take, before we get to the app, let's take a step back, because there was there was some uproar about the smart meters. Can we please, for the love of God, put to bed the smart meters are not going to eat your brain?
And do they give me cancer?
The short answer is no.
There's a long answer?
The long answer is no.
Yeah, the longer answer is hell no, but he's not allowed to say that. So like the smart meters are there to make life easier on everybody, and then that translates into what's then available to you from an in your house perspective.
So there's two sides of that conversation. The one side of the conversation is why do we have advanced meters? Well, the reality is that we can get meter reads daily, and that hourly data is what we deliver initially into the app. So there's efficiency that you're taking cost out of the cost of doing business, which is meter reading. And so that's the advanced meters. That's one side of it.
But you have to pay somebody basically to walk around, to like fight people's dogs, to climb around in the snow.
There's all sorts of risks that goes with that. Dogs, snow, all sorts of issues that go with that.
Plus, it's one data point a month too, right?
Well, and that's the whole thing. I've run other programs where we've looked just at billing data, and the data is in this great big block of 30 days of information, and it says, hey, find the waste in that.
Right. You can't do it.
You can't do it. And so the other side of this is the advanced meter gives you 24 reads a day. So out of the box, when you get the app, you're going to see hourly reads. So every hour you're going to be able to see what your load is or how much energy you're using hour by hour by hour. So that gives you a little bit more information, more data points, more information about what to do. In the app, you can also request an energy bridge. An energy bridge basically connects directly with your meter, and now you can see 5-second data.
Yeesh.
So you can see, hey, I'm just turning off my computer, and 5 seconds later, you can see how much energy you just reduced it by.
Well, that's truly for the people that put hyphen. They put the hyphen in anal retentive. That's who that's for.
Well, but we had this conversation about how much energy is something using.
Yeah.
And so, I have a nice computer at home, and I was leaving it on all the time because when I sat down my computer, I wanted to use it.
Right. I don't want to be bothered with the power up sequence and logging in. I just want to go.
Go. Well, the two monitors and the computer and the speaker system was 300 watts.
Yeesh.
And all of a sudden it's like, what? I think I'm going to put that on a power strip, and I'll be patient, and I'll take a few minutes to boot it up and use it. But it's those changes in behavior that can really make a difference in your bill.
Well, I'm not going to lie. Honestly, one of the best features that you guys and it's not the app or anything like that, but one of the best features DTE offers that I'm stunned that people don't know about is the whole budget-wise thing. I don't understand why more people don't use that. When my wife was pregnant with our first child, she was, 8 months pregnant in July, leading into August. And when I got hit with the $700 DTE bill,
Jesus.
Well, because she had the air conditioning cranked to Arctic for that entire month. That's when I was like, holy crap, there's got to be a better way for me to do this. Stumbled across budget-wise bill, and I do. I'm one of your evangelists. I'm like, do you know about? And no, I didn't know about that. Go do that. Nice same bill every month. You don't have to worry about it.
Well, and where this app goes is it says, okay, we're going to even reduce that even further. I've cut my own bill in half just by becoming more aware of where I'm using energy and what I'm using it for.
Well, and I guess that's part of the battle is the data being available is one thing. Getting people to take action as a result of that data is another.
Yeah. So so one group of our customers are all about getting the data and analyzing the data. The other group is exactly what you're talking about, which is they're saying, hey, I just want to cut my bill. Yeah. I really don't want to. And I really just want to get to the point where I can say, hey, just show me what I'm supposed to do. Give me the formula and let me implement it, and then I can have a lower bill, right?
Yeah.
And the problem is you got to kind of do a little bit of homework in between. You can't just get there. So studying your data and kind of learning your patterns is really, really one of the first things.
It'll never work for Americans. It'll never. we just want to be told what to do and how to do it, and just give me the answer.
So a lot of what we're doing now is we're really trying to focus on. Let me give you a couple simple, really quick things you can do, and see that really nice big jump in the beginning.
So now, does it already, or are there plans to, like with the the integration between the app and the smart meter? Like, how do I go about finding out which outlets in my house are the ones that are the biggest energy drains? Like, how for those who haven't seen the app, like, is it easy? Is it like, do I have to be a techie to get into this?
Absolutely not. It's really, we really have focused a lot on the user interface. We really have made it. The big difference we've made in our app compared to any other apps in the industry is we went to this, what we call energy clock. And it's a dial, and it shows you your energy hour by hour, minute by minute, just like a clock. So you quickly just look at it. You can say, hey, what was going on between 1 and 3 o'clock in the morning? I don't remember having a party.
So I was at the office, so I'm asking my wife what the hell was going on.
To borrow some power.
It was a really good party.
So the information is what you're really starting to focus on. Obviously I spent a lot of time studying my own data, and I've called home and said the freezer door is open.
What?
And she said, how do you know it's the freezer door? Well, once you start looking at the data enough, you can recognize the patterns.
Right.
And the refrigerator, when the freezer door is open, behaves differently than when the refrigerator door is open. But you can also make the mistake of calling home and said, what were you baking? Is there cookies available when I get home?
This is ridiculous.
I was trying to surprise you, ass.
That was not a great conversation. I did not get those cookies. They were gone.
I'm looking at yesterday, and I used 23.2 kilowatt hours for my house for the day. Everything is normal except between 10 and 11 a.m. and 11 a.m. and 12 noon. I use like a large piece of energy, and I'm trying to figure out what that was. I work from home, so I mean,
were you on conference calls, dialed into someplace?
Always on
internet porn. I think that's what it was.
Internet porn does not use any more kilowatts per hour. I've done research, but this is really interesting. So I did something yesterday between those hours, and now I'm like, so much more than just
working on your set for Thursday night. Were you?
Well, but I was slacking off and watching like Orange is the New Black or the new House of Cards came out this weekend, but. It's still interesting data.
Well, the app is free.
The app is free. The Energy Bridge is free. The savings are all yours.
Nice. And then did you guys develop this yourself?
So win. I'm waiting for the downside. I'm waiting for the and then.
Did you guys develop this here? Did you farm it out to another company, or how did you guys build this?
So this is a completely made in Michigan solution.
Nice.
Completely made
Always
in
love to hear that.
Which we laughed about something, was it last week, the guys who did Pure Michigan?
That are now in Florida.
Company?
Yeah.
Yep. So nice. Vector Foreman Royal Oak was our app developer, and
we know them. They've been in here.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job. I work with them every day. Great user interface, great concepts. great execution. And there was a lot of work we had to do on the DTE side to make sure that the data that we're getting from the advanced meter was matched up with the app. So
and consumable by an API, probably things like that.
Yeah, there's
totally.
a lot of work to make it all come together. And the thing is when you look at the app, and this is what we hear from other utilities, they go, we're just amazed how deep and how rich it is. So you're saying, well, what could I do? And in the app, we have a whole bunch of project cards where you fill out a home survey, and then the home survey says, hey, here are all the projects that are relevant to your home. So if you say, hey, I've got natural gas, forced air, heat, you're not going to see tips about boiler tune-ups.
Right.
And so we did a lot of work to make sure that you're only seeing stuff that's relevant to your home. The Energy Bridge was developed by Vectorform, but all the prototyping work was all done here. And the energy bridges are manufactured at Celine Electronics.
Wow.
So all the electronics work is done right here in Michigan as well.
100% Michigan. That's so good. So I feel like between this and like my Nest app, I totally have control over. I mean, those are the two largest things I can get my energy expenditure from. So
yeah. So a lot of you were asking the question, what was all the energy? And the first thing I do is I look at my Wi-Fi connected thermostat and I say, okay, was it HVAC? Was it heating and cooling that was causing that? And when it's not that, then you start going down the path of like, well, what else was plugged in?
Okay, that's so great. I think DTE is an amazing. I've never been like as happy about my power company before. Between this and the outage maps, I mean, like if my power goes out, I can log in. I know exactly what's going on. I know exactly when it's going to be fixed. I mean, you guys do a lot of really cool work to make your consumers educated and informed and good consumers, really. I mean, it's really good stuff.
Yeah, real cool thing about storms. So when we have a storm come through the area, those two apps, just the usage just goes through the ceiling.
Well, I'm sure it's the first place I look.
And so the outage map is telling you, hey, do we know about your outage? Has it been reported? Getting updates and all that. If you have an energy bridge and you're watching that, you actually know exactly what minute the power came back on. Because so you can say, is the power on? And if you're at the office, you can go there. I really use it another way, which is I can see when my sump pump is running because it's a motor and it's going to spike, and it's just going to be a vertical spike on the dial. And so when it's raining, I'm checking it to say, okay, is it running? And I've definitely have seen it when A, it wasn't running, or B, when it was stuck running.
Right.
And so immediately, it's like, hey, someone needs to go.
Yeah, there's a problem one way or the other. Yeah.
Somebody's going to kick the pump one way or the other, or I better need to stop and pick one up.
You just reminded me. I know exactly what it was when I had the power. You said a motor running. I had a sewer backup yesterday, and I had the company come out, plug in their damn snake, and ran it for a while. And that was exactly what used the power. So, God.
Send them a bill.
Wow. Yeah, I'll send them a bill for 3 kilowatts of energy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so instead of – a lot of people aren't very proactive. I mean, let's be honest. Like I said, the whole, okay, the data is there and available. How do I get people to use it? Is there a way, is there monitoring built in? Like, can I get some sort of push alert when energy spikes? Is there, how can I tailor this for my inherent laziness?
So we've just recently launched push notifications. So you're going to start seeing push notifications, and as we roll out new features, you're going to start seeing all sorts of alerts that say, hey, by the way, just like your cell phone currently says, hey, you've used a certain amount of your plan.
Right.
So let's say I want to only use 30 kilowatt hours a day. You can start getting notifications that says, hey, by the way, you've used 50% of your plan already. And then you can set different thresholds so that you can start getting alerts as to, hey, you're getting ahead of your plan earlier in the day. But you can also set up and say, hey, I only want to get that maybe once a week.
Right.
So there's all sorts of ways we're going to let you kind of fine tune how many pushes you get, because nobody wants to get it every 15 minutes.
Very, very cool.
I've also noticed you guys have gamified this some. I know gamification is a big thing with any kind of performance, right? Can you tell me a bit about that?
So it's kind of a couple different tiers. So gamification, we really kind of do the goal setting. So set a budget goal or set a usage goal and say, that's what I'm going for. And then we kind of give you the tools to kind of play the game towards that. Now, as you're achieving all those goals, we also say, hey, by the way, here's a challenge. try to only use 15 kilowatts today. Or we usually have an easy, a medium, and a hard challenge every week. So the easy one is usually do something in the app, explore the app. Set a goal. That'd be a real simple one. A medium one would be, hey, just use a little bit less energy for one day this week. A bigger goal would be to say, hey, use a lot less energy than you did last year.
Wow.
And so every week we have 3 challenges, and then you accumulate points. Those points go towards an avatar, and the avatar has some future in it.
Nice.
You get to be a big blue person.
Wrong avatar.
Oh,
Wrong
damn.
avatar.
That's the only one I know.
I see you, DTE. All right, so phenomenal. I mean, so where do people? It's available multi-platform. Just search on DTE.
So you can go into Apple iTunes or Google Play Store, search for DTE Insight. You can find it through DTE Energy as well. Both apps will come up.
Right.
We're the one with the green icon. The mobile app is the blue icon. That's where you can get the outage map and the mobile pay.
I downloaded it tonight. You need to know your DTEenergy.com login and password. That's all you need to know.
You need an online account. So if you don't have an online account, you have to go through the registration.
Which, if you're not paying your bills online, seriously, why are you listening to the show?
What year is it?
And then in the app, you can also request an energy bridge. You need to request an energy bridge.
Okay. I've already done it. I downloaded the app. 5 minutes later, I'm requesting an energy bridge. So.
Yeah, it is the resolution of the data and what you can learn about your energy is just so finely tuned. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the coolest feature in the whole app.
Okay.
So if you have an iPhone, it's iPhone only.
Get out.
No, you can stay.
So if you have an iPhone,
I'm there.
You can go to the Tools menu. In the Tools menu, there's a feature called Power Scan. And what the guys at Vectorform figured out was how to use the magnetometer in your phone to scan a power cord and tell you how much energy that appliance is using.
No.
I've heard that on the commercials.
Way.
So
mind blown.
iPhone.
I'll matrix the board real quick here. Let's see.
So the only reason it's limited to the iPhone is because you have to reverse engineer every phone.
Right.
And there's so many Android
inferior
phones.
devices. I mean, other devices.
So
whatever iDrone.
We'll just take a power.
What's your car in the parking lot? Which car is yours? Kind of wonder.
It's the Tesla. Begin power scan. Here goes.
Sorry, Neil.
So yeah, on the board there, it's not going to work real well because it's got so many magnetic signatures.
Dude, that is so cool.
So yeah, what you want to do is put that over you want to take your cover off your phone,
right?
Lay it over a power cord, and what you want to do is position the phone so that the wavy line goes flat, and when it flat lines, it'll say "got it," and then I'll tell you how many watts that is.
Dude, that is so cool.
Crazy.
Physics in real life.
We're living in the future. The future is now.
Damn it! Now I want to go buy
My
an
power
iPhone.
company does this. Thank you, Joel. Seriously.
I'm not gonna lie. Now I'm not as bitter
I'm a
that
happy DT
you're
customer.
spending all the money I send you every month on commercials telling me how awesome you are. I'm not as bad.
Trying to give me tickets to the game.
Right. Outstanding. So yes, by all means, go download the app. Anything else we missed, we'll come back into in segment 4. Phenomenal. Man, that went well. Yeah.
Dude, here at the break, I'm going to walk around. I'm checking every device here in the studio. So I'll be back in 7 minutes?
Perfect. All right. So, hey, this is episode 134 of the ITintheD show. We'll see you in just a minute.
ITintheD. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit. One beer at a time.
Hi, I'm Brittany Daniel from The Game, and you're listening to IT and the D Show.
ITintheD.com.
This is a previously recorded episode of the ITintheD show.
All right, so hey, welcome back to episode 134. We're having a phenomenal time so far tonight. We're going to come back with Dave. Not Dave. I said
Dave.
John from YourComicCon.com. You've got the Pure MishCon coming up in April, and obviously we are a huge fan of cons.
And we like
Yes.
Michigan. We live here.
Yep. And I got both. Cons and Michigan.
So talk to me a little bit about where your Comic-Con, because Bob's like, my Comic-Con? Yes, Bob, your Comic-Con.
Exactly.
So, what's the concept behind it and what's coming up?
Well, the name just kind of came out of nowhere in some ways. I was doing a convention in my church, the Redford Comic-Con, and people were asking for more and more, so I kind of branched out and I did a 2-day last August.
Give the people what they want.
Yes.
Build it, they will come.
And they did. They did. And so I had to come up with some sort of umbrella to cover the 2 different named shows.
Right.
And, just bouncing ideas, and I came up with Your Comic-Con. And I do want I take suggestions. They never give them to me, so I must be doing my shows perfectly, but I do ask for them all the time.
So it's April, if I recall correctly.
April 2nd, yes.
Yep. And so, if it's a pure MishCon, so who's going to be there? Why do people want to put it on their radar?
Well, I have over 60 Michigan creators that are going to be appearing in one place. I have, some comic names known in Michigan, Arvil Jones and Scott Rosema.
Arvil Jones from Misty Knight?
Yes.
Nice.
Co-creator of Misty Knight. Arvil Jones is going to be there. And Gary Reed, president of Caliber Comics. And they have Dead World Zombie Soda and chips and everything. All Michigan-based, all grown in Michigan. And Caliber's been around since about 1986, I believe.
I went to the premiere for the Dead World Soda thing.
Oh, okay.
We've got one of the guys on our network, Jay Shimko, was one of the artists that did some of the bottles.
See, the only Dead World I've ever been to is a rave that's usually thrown in downtown once a year.
It's
not that?
Not that, no.
This is delicious soda made in Livonia.
Ooh, Livonia.
So, where's it going to be held? What are ticket prices? That sort of stuff.
It's at the Taylor Town Center, which is basically 94 in Telegraph, 94 in E-Course. Ticket price is $5 per person or $15 per family.
I just pulled that up. $5?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Is that too cheap?
Yeah, kinda.
I do not ever want to host a show that I cannot afford to go to or set up at. I believe I do have the cheapest prices for tables and, entry.
I don't think I've ever heard of a show con for a $5 entry.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. So we went to Great Lakes, not this past weekend, but the weekend before.
Which is very reasonably priced, right?
That was $12 at the door, and I was floored by that. You've got the Extreme, which is Penguicon.
Which were $60 at the door for an entire weekend.
Right.
So Friday through Sunday.
Well, but then the trade-off there is there's no, not only that, but no cost to get signatures from the guests and, that kind of stuff. So how is this working? The guests that are coming, are they charging for signatures? Or
No,
are they
no, none of my guests so far are charging for signatures. As far as I know, none of them have told that.
Okay.
Arvil's actually donating a couple of sketches for contests and stuff like that.
Call Scott. The bar has been raised.
Sorry, Scott.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Wow.
And 15 for a family. Usually my family deal is three entries. So if you got 6 people in your family, still $15. So.
Dude, I mean, I think about.
That's ridiculous.
I think that's the biggest thing I have against Comic-Cons is I feel like it's a gigantic, crazy money grab.
Well, it's a lot of them have become nerd flea markets. They're not even so much Comic-Cons anymore as they are.
And they're expensive as shit.
Yeah, whether it's they're a media expo, they're a flea market for the most part. Yeah.
Yep, a lot of them. Yeah.
So what's the focus? I mean, obviously Michigan based, but what kind of focus are you trying to pull into the pure MishCon?
Well, yeah, I mean, I just trying to support Michigan small press. Like I said, over 60 creators. Not all comic book. I got 5 actors and actresses, that are in the new Batman Superman movie, and they've been in other stuff, but that's the comic book related, movie. The Ouellette family. They've been on Chicago PD and Chicago Fire. The 3 kids from this family, and I want to push comic books. I love to read. I love Michigan. I found a great way to bring them together, I thought.
And so, I mean, it's a one-day event.
Correct.
And so without pulling up my calendar here, it's a Saturday?
April 2nd, Saturday, yes.
And it says it runs from 10:30 to 6. You've got costume and cosplay. So I mean, is there a contest for those that want to go?
Yeah, yep. Cosplay is 5:30 to 8.
Okay.
The first time I did it, it shut my show down. I had so many entries, so I had to adjust and make it a little separate. We had 60 entries at my first show. So
yeesh.
Some shows limit entries. I want everyone to have fun. I don't care if you bought it at the store on the way into the show. I just want people to have fun at my show. So, I had to make it separate. The dealers complained that no one was shopping, and
So I'm not familiar with Taylor Towns. I mean, is there going to is there obviously our big concern, is there an after party, or are there places nearby where one could be held?
Places to consume libations.
I will look into that for my big show in July, but I mean there are places around there. It's kind of like I call it a mini Gibraltar. It's got a like a flea market type area, and then there's event halls. So I rent either one or both of the event halls depending on my show.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, probably the first show we did, not just from an attending standpoint, but from a Podcast Detroit, getting a booth and setting up and bringing out the remote gear was at Gibraltar, out in Mount Clemens.
Yeah.
And there was no after party plan. And so Bob took it upon himself to grab the mic out of the person's hand that was running things and announce that the after party would be at the bar across the street. And the first round was on Podcast Detroit. So needless to say, it got a little packed. So as long as there are places in the area where we'll make something happen.
I'll do a little more research and send you something.
This is crazy. Looking at your website, there's a lot of different cons you run.
Yes.
Right? So this is not the only. How did you get into this?
I was a bricklayer until 2008, and everything shut down. And my pastor at church knows I love comics, and he's like, why don't you try putting on a show? And I did like 5 shows that year. And then I went through a divorce, which sucks 3 years out of your life.
5 shows your first year. So
yes.
You were just like, let me dip my toe into this.
No.
Let me dive headfirst into this.
I mean, I ran a store for 10 years. I've been attending shows for 35, so I mean, I at least had an idea of, what you should do a little bit,
Right.
But yeah, last year I did a March show, coming back, divorce is final, let's try the show thing. And yeah, people were clamoring.
I can make money again safely.
Yes. Yep. And ding, ding, ding. And I was turning away dealers. A 30-table waiting list for a 30-table show just seemed kind of extreme for me. So
how big is this? How many tables are going to be there? How many guests are going to be there? Cards on table. We were yakking before the show, and I hooked you up with Jay.
Yeah.
One of our buddies who, former wrestler Eddie Venom, who now does. He was an extra in Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
He's on the WGN series The Outsiders as a stuntman. Hopefully he'll wind up being there. I hope that works out.
I still have a few available spaces.
Yeah. So how many? What am I walking into when I walk in?
I'll have 78 to 85 tables, depending on the exact setup. I always leave a couple tables open because I might forget someone, and a last-minute guest. I've had people call me the night before and, that I want there, so I would leave a little space. But, 80 tables, basically.
And damn it, another weekend I'm blocking off of my calendar. We're going to need a table.
I have a podcast panel I'll be, doing, so more than welcome.
Oh, absolutely, we should be there.
More than welcome. Yeah.
But people tell us we don't know anything about podcasting.
No, they don't tell. They just tell us we always do it wrong. That's
Then I definitely want you there.
We've apparently done it wrong. We've broken every rule, even though we didn't know there were rules.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm making this up as I go along, and I've been doing pretty well. So what's
phenomenal? We're in. I'm not going to lie. I'm still hung up on $5 and people aren't charging for autographs. Any big names that people would know and be aware of?
I'm working on a couple, some last minute, people. I really am working on some bigger names for my July show. I'm doing a 2-day show.
Okay, so let's talk about that one.
Yeah, that's just the big show. I'm calling it.
Right.
My biggest show ever.
Welcome to the big show.
Yep. About 19,000 square feet.
Good God.
This is my house.
Right.
Your indoor pool.
Right.
Yeah, your life would be a lot more complicated right now if that were true, I assure you.
And every show I go to, I I go to shows now to recruit guests, and I can pick.
You were there in Lansing.
Yeah, yep. I was in Lansing. Walk around. I talked to Ken. I'm horrible with names. The Disney guy, Ken Lashman, and I talked to Brimstone, and I talked to Mike Grell, and so I'm always out recruiting, looking for the next guy.
We might have an in for you with Brimstone if you want him there.
Beautiful,
so yeah. All right, so it's a Saturday only show. I mean, is there so it's $5? Even with the less expensive, is there is there an all day a VIP pass? Is there
use the restroom?
There are shows that do early bird specials, which I don't understand. I let everyone at the same time, same price. The July show, there'll be a 2-day pass. I'm still setting prices for that, but they're going to be just as reasonable as this.
So what are you working on for that show? I mean, obviously that's, and we're familiar with it, from our monthly networking events versus our pink slip parties.
Yeah.
There's a lot more that goes into that. So, what are you working on for that?
We're going to have a charity auction is already lined up.
Okay.
All comic book related items. I'm talking to some of the artists, get them to donate some sketches and stuff for the charity auction. There's going to be a couple different charities. I know one will be animal based, like Humane Society, something like that. And then my mom died of cancer, so I might, set something like that. But
mine
a lot
too.
Of negotiations and stuff like that. It's crazy. But so going to do that. Going to have a few, maybe a martial arts demonstration, and maybe some wrestling demonstrations. You never know. It's
may or may not have an in there for you.
These guys may or may not professionally wrestling commentating.
And then, it's going to be one event hall and one dealer room. So it's going to be, cosplay events, and panels, again, I'm going to have an acting panel for sure, the local actors in Michigan. So,
which is still a huge talk. I mean, even with, all of the incentives and that kind of stuff under debate and mostly going away and that kind, I mean, there's a great industry that built up here that's kind of hanging on by their fingernails.
It hasn't gone away,
Yeah.
I mean, all the performers are definitely they're out there running around trying to get parts and Superman, Batman, filmed by where I work downtown, over the summer.
They did some filming at the Russell. That's where our old studio was.
Yeah, we're by the Ham, Mike's Ham.
Okay.
I work right by there, Churchill Transportation. So,
Yeah, we had a great time for a few weeks actually getting into our studio because, studio security was floating around and didn't want to let us in and get up. You mall rent-a-cop. What are
you going to do when I smack you and walk by?
Yeah, exactly. Watch as I'm carrying my cooler full of growlers. Get away from me. So over there. Yeah, exactly. Look, Elvis. I guess so you're on that side. From a con perspective, what have you noticed as a trend? Because I've noticed a few things as trends in the con industry over the past couple of years in particular. What are you seeing as far as what more people are either looking for or looking to find more of or less of when it comes to the con scene?
I mean, honestly, they're looking for a lot less comics. It's easier to collect Harley Quinn as a toy because there's 10 toys, but to try and get every appearance of Harley Quinn or the Joker or whatever, that can take years. Everyone loves the characters, but the comic books themselves are kind of, fading in some ways. You go see the movie, you don't need to read the comic, but everyone knows Batman, everyone knows, Guardians of the Galaxy now and stuff like that.
The millions of Marvel shows that are on ABC.
Yep,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting.
They're collecting items and the characters, but not necessarily the comics as much.
Dude, that's so interesting.
I think publication for a solid comic like Thor is about $25,000 a month. They used to be publishing, $1 million a month.
We just got asked by one of our listeners if you were going to have a mechanical bull at any of your upcoming cons.
which is maybe the big show, in July.
A really great segue. So, I mean, where next, right? So you've got these shows. What are your plans for next year? Where do you want to take this? Where are you going?
I just signed Ypsilanti, a venue in Ypsilanti. We're doing a little convention March 19th, so in a couple weeks. It's at a church, and I'm already looking at a larger venue there. I really want to make Pure MishCon. It's going to be an annual event until I go broke. But I mean, I really want it to be a big show.
So let's avoid future divorces because that contributes to that.
Yeah, I'm not getting married this week, that's for sure. So, I I really want that to be a big, long-term event, the Pure MichCon. Comics have been around in Michigan forever. The first conventions were held in Detroit. A lot of rich history.
We've talked about that before, and that's like one of the things that people don't know is that, Shell Door, did Detroit Fanfare out here,
Yep.
then moved to San Diego and started the San Diego Comic-Con.
Yep.
So that, that's the huge show. That's the one that everybody talks about. Still has its roots here.
Yep.
And honestly, I mean, that's one of the things that I've noticed over the past couple of years in particular is that every time, it's so much easier to find a con now.
Yeah,
there's something going on every weekend, whether it's a VFW hall, a trade center, a church, something.
Yeah.
There's somebody putting on a con of varying levels of interest and professionalism. But there's something going on every single weekend these days.
Yeah, it is crazy. Someone asked me, Shotocon's going on in Lansing, which is an anime convention.
Right.
The same weekend as my Ypsilanti. And I'm like, to get an open venue and an open date without any other competing shows is almost impossible.
Good luck with that.
Days.
Yeah.
I think about that when we were doing our con, PinkoCon. It's the same thing. It's like, all right, so who's graduating when?
Yeah.
What other shows are going on? And it's getting harder and harder to find a weekend with nothing going on.
Yeah, I did a show last year, and it was Michigan State football game day.
It's really great.
Bring in the big screens and make sure it's playing. That's all.
It's really great, though, John, to see you doing this. And it's obvious that you're passionate about this.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
doing it for the right reasons. And you're throwing a good event at a good price. So thanks for kind of keeping the team alive here in Michigan.
Like I said, I don't want to host a show I can't afford to go to.
Well, and I brought my son to his first little con a couple weeks back, and just to watch his eyes light up at the amount of stuff, and it was a small one. I mean, it was at a church. It was church basement kind of thing.
Yep.
Maybe 20 tables. Not that huge by any stretch, but he was just in I brought him to his first comic book store last year.
Yeah.
This was his first con. This is probably the first year I'm going to take him over to Motor City. That's what if you're going to have the next generation come up and still get this stuff and still appreciate this stuff, you have to make it affordable to do so.
Yep, for sure.
It can't be $60, $80 for a one-day pass.
Honestly, I can't afford to go to Motor City. It's over $100 for me and my boys to walk in there.
Yeah.
Then what am I going to do?
It's getting to the point that it's like going to a Wings game or a Tigers game. God, I just want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this is also a public service message. You said that comic books are dying. It's like, hey, parents, take your kids, show them the love of comic books like your parents showed you. Keep this stuff alive because this is such an important part.
That's what I took my kid to see Star Wars like my father before me.
Yes.
I took my kid to a comic book store like my father before
Parents
me.
would ask me, what comic can I buy that'll pay my kid's college education in 20? I said, buy him one every week and let him read, and he'll get a scholarship, and that'll pay for the college education.
Well, and honestly, it is. I mean, it's a monthly trip. I mean, we hit the local comic book store by our house every single month now. And if I have stuff going on, they make sure I know that still has to be on the agenda.
Comic Saturday, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. It's time to go. All right. So where do we go ahead? I want to make sure so John, where do we find out about all the events you have going on? Including obviously the Pure MichCon in April and then the bigger one coming up. But so where can I find all of the stuff that you have going on?
Yeah, it's YourComicCon.com. It's simple on Facebook and on, you type in YourComicCon.com and my website will pop up everywhere, or Redford Comic Con, or Taylortown Comic Con, or Ypsilanti Comic Con.
Taking over the world.
Very, very cool.
Yes,
all right. Well, hey, thanks for coming out. We're going to be coming back with segment 4. We had Billy Straughter, who just randomly showed up at the studio.
Hi, Mom. I love it when Billy shows up.
So, yeah, we'll be talking with him and just doing a recap on everything else we have going on, and as well as our event coming up on Thursday night. So, hey, this is episode of 134 of the ITintheD show, and we'll see you in just a sec.
IT in the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit. One beer at a time.
Hey guys, it's Time Hawk, Bruce Leroy from The Last Dragon. You're listening to the ITintheD show.
ITintheD.com.
This is a previously recorded episode of the IT and the D show.
Welcome back to episode 134 of IT in the D. We are chilling out in our safe space above Activate Gaming here in our Ferndale studios. I am Nuri the FNG, also here with Dave the Geek. Bob, the sales guy, is doing sales guysy stuff in Miami.
Exactly. I believe it's appropriate for us to now question his location because we did that to you while you were gone.
Oh, is he really in Miami?
Is it really business?
Is it really scantily clothed women on the beach? I don't know, Bob. Is it?
Spring break equals sales conference for some strange reason.
Dude, it is spring break.
It did not even put that together, Bob, you dick.
Anyway, check us out on iTunes. If you have not left a review for us, we'd totally appreciate you leaving us a review. We do most of our stuff through SoundCloud, but we're also on iTunes. So if you're there, leave us a message. Let us know what you think of our meatball subs.
Absolutely.
And don't forget this Thursday night at 5 o'clock, if you are looking for a job, if you want to network, if you want to just hang out and eat pizza with cool people.
Or if you're looking to hire people.
Yeah. We're at the Majestic Theater in Detroit off of Woodward Avenue, the most screwed up road in the entire world.
Oh, I'm so there.
But we're there between 5 and 9. And
because traffic.
And there'll be pizza, and there'll be Ghostbusters, and there'll be me spinning some Deep House. So come on out and hang out with us for a couple hours.
Should be a good time.
Should be a good time. So we're here with Billy Strotter, one of the
Hi guys.
friends of our podcast for forever. Thanks for dropping by.
You're welcome.
Without
I was just
calling.
randomly driving down 75, and I just sent a message like, "Hey, can I stop by?"
Duh.
I'm glad you did.
So am I.
The answer is always yes.
Yes.
If you sent me a message, I'd make you dinner. I'd be like,
Right.
"Oh, Billy's coming over. Let me put an extra plate."
He's like,
vegetarian
I would
food?
have sent the message sooner.
Yeah, let me make sure the keg's working. Life's good. So, Bill, we were having, as always, the most fascinating conversations always happen during the break. So, Billy, you know what? I will let you go ahead and take the floor and intro this.
Well, I was just talking to Dave about the idea on Sunday. Stephen Henderson was on Meet the Press, and he was having a conversation, and Mary Madeline made a comment on, "I would like to choke you," which was just kind of like, oh, what does that mean? I want to choke you.
Is that like funny haha or like, hey, this milk smells funny?
Right? And so it's just an interesting conversation on race and, you know, where are we today? And so my initial thought in
Wait, so Billy,
right.
wait, but Obama's president, didn't that solve everything? He said sarcastically.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Billy Strutter Jr. is black. I may not sound that way, which is another conversation that we can have some other time. But the idea was that, you know, I looked at it and I'm like, all right, wait. So we've come so far in a way that, you know what, she felt comfortable just saying to another person,
let's go ahead and get this out there. The views and opinions expressed during this segment do not necessarily represent all the views and opinions owned by the ITintheD show. Go.
I even hit the bell on that.
Yeah, still synchronicity.
So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, all right, so is this an indication on just how far we've come where she's looking at him and saying, you know what, you're just another reporter that I'm thinking, you know what, that's just an idiot.
You're a colleague, yeah.
Right. So
like us sitting around a bar, Billy, I would choke the life out of you right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And so on one hand, I can see that, but someone else, you know, brought me aside and they were like, hey, you know what? The thing is that while it's okay for her to say that, if you flip it around, could Stephen have said to her, I want to choke you?
Nope.
Yeah. And so that is where we still have a problem today.
Because suddenly he's an angry black man.
Because it doesn't flow both ways.
Right.
Right. And that's the challenge with the conversations that we're trying to have. And that's why it's so difficult. And that's why we haven't moved as far as I would like.
Especially here. How many times have we had this conversation here in the Metro Detroit area?
Right. Well, yeah, we're like 3 blocks from the hard border.
Dude, not 3, 1. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I'm still a little sore from the mechanical bull ride. I could still hit 8 Mile with a rock.
Amazing, by the way. I still am like feeling giggles in all of the places from watching you ride that mechanical.
I'm not gonna lie, and the best part about that is that happened at 8:45 p.m. and that was the early part of the evening, and it only went downhill from there. But no, it's such a, you know. A year ago, you know, I published, you know, the whole thing about if you don't like the change coming to Detroit, get involved. And that turned into such a thing.
I was involved in that.
I know you were. You came with me to
Flashpoint.
Flashpoint. You came with me to WDIV to hang out in the green room, going on Flashpoint to talk about that because it became such a thing. Why? That's what I keep coming back to and that's my frustration with all this is why can't we just have these conversations as colleagues, as people? Sure. Dude, I'm not going to lie. If somebody popped a recorder in the middle of the conversations of you, Bob, and I sitting at Cicerelli's, after the Pistons game, we'd all be on Flashpoint all over again.
Exactly. I think it comes down to perspective. I mean, it's really difficult to put ourselves in the position of other people, right? Until you've experienced what someone else has gone through, you can be like, you know what? I'm really sorry that you've been through that. I don't really know how that feels, right? And so
I get it,
right?
Because I don't get it,
right?
Yep.
Yeah, and so and that's where we find ourselves quite often. And so I'm pulling out my phone because my memory is awful as I've turned 42. So John
happens to the best of us.
Hope Bryant was the keynote speaker for the Detroit Policy Conference,
right?
And he just talked about some really interesting concepts and the idea that he made a comment where he said that if you look at writing, that writing typically happens in neighborhoods. He's like, it doesn't happen in neighborhoods with a 700 credit score. He's like, almost all riots happen in neighborhoods that have a credit score of 500 or lower. And that it comes down. And so I wanted to send the dude an email.
Which seems logical.
Which seems logical. But at the same time, I was like, wait, but what about the dudes that riot when someone runs a hockey game?
Vancouver,
San Francisco, when they toilet paper things.
That's right. Those damn Canadians in Vancouver.
I'm pretty sure that they have a credit score a little bit higher than 500. Right. So not all of the concepts are right on, but I understand what he was saying, that it's all about opportunity. Right.
Right.
And when people don't have hope and they don't have opportunity, that's one of the things that's dangerous. Right. I mean, are we putting ourselves in a position where when people don't have opportunities, are we looking out for the little guys? And that's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about small businesses and the things that, like TechTown, right? So we have our office at TechTown, and one of the things that's great about what they do in economic development is that they go out into the neighborhoods, and they believe that it's one neighborhood at a time that you make change.
Yep. So, I'm not going to lie. So I can't get into a whole lot of specifics just yet, but we had a phenomenal meeting Friday. About the, we have the Career Academy thing that we have going on where, so, if you go to vip.careeracademy.com/ITintheD, for $29 a year, you get access to 1,100 plus online courses. You get all kinds of continuing education credits, PDUs, like if you're a PMP, that kind of stuff. You can get an associate's degree. An associate's degree from an accredited university for $29 a year. We had
is that real?
No, it really is real, dude. Which is part of so Friday we had this great conversation about how to get that more blown out and more widely known. And we think the initial steps are there to start making that happen.
Anything I can do at my shows, man.
Well, so that's the thing, man. So here's the thing. Like, you look at a lot of the, stereotypical that are known out there training academies. It's $5,000, $8,000, $10,000, $15,000 for a single cert, and a single cert isn't even going to get you where you need to be. You need 3 or 4 or 5 to make that career transition. Because our whole thing is, again, it's all about that opportunity. Like, our whole thing is the path. It's so we have so many people that are like, look, I get it. My job, my career is now dead. I need to get into IT. How do I do that? And so, we've written an article. We've set all this stuff up about, here's the path. Here's how you get into that. And we've walked, 20 odd people through it, like held their hands as we've gone through this. Including, again, it's a shame Bob's not here. His cousin Chet. 3 years ago, Chet was painting floors. That was his job. He was the epoxy guy. walked in with, a
Fun
big
job.
a big stick and rollers, and that's what he did.
Small sarcasm.
Yeah, horrible job.
And but that's, and he came to us and said, I want to get out of this. I want to start doing something better. And we set him on the path. So we're now 3 years in with him. He just took a job damn near $60K with Comerica. And that's 3 years in. Right. So you've got to do the time, and it's you have to want it and you have to apply yourself for it.
You're also not breathing epoxy fumes.
Well, right.
Yeah, but if we take that a step further, if we think about what happened there is, everyone needs a champion.
Yep.
Right? So when you look at kids that are, we tend to put programs together for kids that we already know are going to succeed.
Yep.
Right. But who's looking out for the kids that are getting B minuses and C's and D's,
that are on that borderline or below.
Right. And just showing them that there are opportunities for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so
you don't have to go to Harvard.
No, but you just need to know that there are opportunities there for you.
Well, and honestly, that's the biggest thing to me is there are so many programs out there. In fact, one of the conversations we were having is there's a great program from the state right now that's been running for a couple of years that if you want to get your staff those same kind of certs and get them trained or retrained or whatever. I keep coming back to, I had a conversation with a VP of IT from a fairly large company, here in the Metro Detroit area, who at the start of our conversation was bemoaning the fact that they had just laid off 40 mainframe devs. And then a half an hour later in that same conversation was bemoaning the fact that they couldn't find front-end Java.NET devs. And I was like, dude, I want you to take this with every ounce of support that I can possibly muster when I say this, but you're an effing moron.
Yeah. I don't think he actually said effing, but
no, I didn't.
Does it make it better if I, with all due respect?
Exactly. With all due respect, I'm about to piss you off.
Sir.
But yes, sir. But no, because there are programs from the state. You could have taken those 40 people that know, and that is the biggest challenge. They know your back end systems. They know the big iron that powers your company. There's a program out there from the state that you could have turned them into front end devs where the state would have paid for their training and would have paid 80% of their salary while they were in the training. It doesn't get any better than that. And then you would have had that purple squirrel that everybody's looking for, a front-end dev that knows big iron mainframe systems. What's wrong with you? And it was like, dude, I didn't know that program was out there. I'm like, you're a VP of IT at a major freaking company here in the area, and you don't know that problem's out there?
Google search.
That's the problem.
Yeah. Well,
no. Shame on the people putting those programs together that he didn't know that.
Right. You know what? I'm going to actually address that because one of the issues that we were having is, within our own agency is the struggle to create diversity. I look around at my team and I'm like, there are not a lot of people that look like me. Right? And so I reached out to someone that was part of the Detroit revitalization.
Okay.
Right. And so I'm like, how did you guys address that? And so the feedback they gave me was we went to where people are. Right. And it never clicked to me. And that's one of the things I talk about in social media. You guys have heard me talk about it on a regular basis is that as a company, when you're thinking about using social media, you go to the places where people spend their time.
Right.
Right.
Well,
if I'm looking to hire someone.
It's us with our podcast. Right. We may not care about the Zune store.
Right.
But they take an RSS feed.
You just said Zune.
We put it. It's there.
Right.
We've picked up 3 listeners from it, but those are 3 listeners we didn't have before. So you establish a beachhead wherever the people are.
Right. Yeah, and so that's just it's so important to do that, and I just hadn't even. It's amazing that I didn't even think about that. Which is one of the reasons why I love the Grow Detroit Young Talent program.
Yep.
Right, because that's an opportunity to show kids there are opportunities for you. right? And there are all of these companies that are giving jobs to kids throughout the summer for a 6-week program, and they get to experience something that's unlike anything that they've ever had an opportunity to do before.
I mean, I think of our friends at Focus Hope. I think about our friends at Girl Develop It.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many programs out there for kids and for women and for, I mean, pretty much anybody who wants to get involved with it.
Right. Yeah. But it's just making sure that people know that those programs are aware.
That's the biggest challenge is and we do. I mean, we joke about, we're running a 5K for awareness. Everybody knows about breast cancer now. We all know it's there. We get it. But stuff like this, I mean, people don't have, the awareness of the programs that are out there and available to help people, which sucks.
Yeah. Certainly frustrating, and there's no easy answer, but certainly bringing awareness to that and just getting as many people involved as possible. So one of the things that I'm doing is I'm going through Leadership Detroit right now. And one of the things that I've done is I reached out to a few schools, and I'm like, listen, I just want to bring some of these students in from inner city schools to my company so that they can see someone that looks just like them running a business, so that they know that there's an opportunity for them that they may not have considered.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's it's like one of those things where people they don't necessarily see opportunities for them if they don't see people like them doing it.
Right.
And so it's on me to give back to the next generation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to.
That's all I've got, man. I was like just driving by and I was like, I'm going to stop by. So
and just drop bombs and get deep.
See, I had a big speech planned for this fourth segment, and you ruined it.
Yeah, Billy. I mean, this is like what you talk about when you drop by. I hate to think about what you talk about when you actually are scheduled in. Right. I think it's really
I talk
deep.
about absolutely nothing.
I'm like, honestly, that's usually just hashtags and crap. That's usually what he talks about.
Yeah.
Then.
So this is why
when he's actually motivated to come in, there's a drive.
Stop by because your conversations are way better.
And so we're apparently never scheduling you again.
Right, exactly.
We'll just wait for that. We'll just wait for the random Facebook message.
No, we love it. That's so cool, and
No, very cool. All right, well, hey, we are coming up against the end of episode 134 of the ITintheD show. Let's take one trip around the room. John, where do people find out about all the Comic-Con stuff you have going on?
YourComicCon.com or RedfordComicCon@gmail.com.
Okay, very cool. Joel, where do we find DTE?
So you can go to the iTunes Store or Google Play Store, search for DTE Insight or DTE Energy, download the app.
And then grab that bridge.
Grab the energy bridge from within the app.
Dude, grab it all. It's so cool. I've been walking around the studio. I'm like, ooh, the coffee pot uses 10 watts of power. I'm like, God,
screw you, Tony.
I love it.
For bringing a coffee. And then, Billy, obviously, where do we find out all the stuff you have going on?
Yeah, you can find me at Social Coop Media. Social Coop is COOP. And then I am BJ Strawter, STRAWTER on all the social media things.
Very
Bob,
cool.
we miss you so much.
Not really.
Not.
I think we did okay without him tonight.
We did.
All right. So, hey, again, episode 134 of the ITintheD show is coming to a close. Don't forget, Thursday night, we will be at the Majestic Theater, taking that over for one of our famous pink slip parties.
Be there.
Hope we see you there. Should be a great, great night. And we have a lot of fun stuff coming up in coming weeks. We have some great guests. I think we're already booked out through the end of April at this point.
So drink up your drinks and do your stuff and phone numbers and blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 Bob.
Beat it.
All right. See you, everybody.
The emergency destruct system is now activated.
Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
Long live Flash! You've saved your Earth. Have a nice day.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name?
Murphy.
Make the run. The run.
Game over, man. It's game over.
It's over, Johnny. It's over.
Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.
I can't say no, and I don't really want to, so.
Well, especially with the back doors open.
Yo! Hold up! Time out! take a chill. You need to cool that shit out. And that's the double truth, Ruth.
Bob loves it in the can.
I hope this was as much fun for you as it was for me.
That's why I like it in the can.
To own the truth.
Fear me.
My job is to make sure this program is morally upright and cultural and wholesome.
Shut up, Mimsy! Shut up, Mimsy! Shut up, Mimsy!
Why would Buick put their cars next to the Bentleys? Why? That's not marketing.
The alphabet.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, I can't take that position.
That analogy sucks because it's right. Because you're getting your 8-track tuned up. Are we at a break yet? Yeah, so now I'm just doing stupid stuff to make me laugh.
Venture capital is not the end game.
When are we going to talk about me?
Jane, you ignorant slut.
It's my show. I can say what I want.
Kiss my ass, go home, unplug, get off the goddamn internet. You are everything that is wrong with the internet right now.
You're so white right now.
I'm the whitest guy in the room. Just explain it to me.
I love this city. I was banging on the wang.
Really? Should we talk about this? Tag team it. Should I keep going or should I stop?
Can I just say, it's been great being on a show that talks about Mickey Rooney dying for 20 seconds and then poop for 10 minutes.
This is a previously recorded episode of the IT and the D Show.